Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo ThinkPad. This is a model, what is this? ThinkPad P16 Gen 1, Aluminum and Magnesium. ThinkPad P16 Gen 1, alright. So this customer got this, they said refurbished. The reason I have this thing with some bubble wrap in it is because I don't want static to damage it. But the customer, they seem like super worried about little marks in it. They said at one point when they got it, they opened it and then they dropped their phone on it, and then they were like showing me this. You can barely see it. There's a very, I don't even know if it will pick up in camera, but a very, very slight like ding there. And because of that, he was well, I don't know, he just brought that up. So I'm like, okay, let me be extra careful with this and just make sure there's no chance of anything happening with this. Anyways, there is this little reset button hole, I'm pretty sure, for this model. Okay, and this thing's now inflated with some air, so it's like wobbly. Anyways, we're going to be using a P1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove the screws from the bottom. This is my first time opening this model, so I'm not sure what I'll find underneath, but anyways, we're using a PH1 or JS1 to undo these screws. There's a little cover here, so let's see. We'll undo this screw and see if we can pop it out. Okay, it seems to be pretty difficult. Does it slide? Okay, I think it slides this way. So we'll undo this screw, and then we probably got to lift this up and slide this thing. I'm assuming that's what's going on. Wow, this is a weird design. I don't know. It doesn't want to come out. I've never seen one like this before. Okay, it looks like now it popped up, but am I supposed to slide this whole thing down? It looks like sliding this down helps, but it's kind of weird because it doesn't slide completely. So I don't know if you saw, but I like slid it out a little bit, and then now like this whole piece is coming out, but not this whole side. So what is going on? There we go. Okay, let's see. So yes, you do need to slide it down, and then the other side here are just clips, it appears. So it looks like you can clip these out, and then it should just slide, or actually it should just unclip, right? So yeah, this all just clips. So I guess you just have to be a little more forceful, and then once you pull it, then you can take that out. Okay, this whole thing is going to be a learning process, so if you're the type that just want to see something completely edited, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make a video like that. You can fast forward through if you want to skip stuff. But yeah, anyways, there's a little hole here, like I said, through this. You can use a little pin or a folded out paper clip, and then you can press and hold that. That's usually a battery reset button. Okay, there is a slot here, most likely the RAM cover. All right, we're going to pull this up, and it doesn't look like it really holds in with anything. Okay, it's just here. I'm assuming that's a DDR5. There's nothing really there, so I'm a little bit worried that there's going to be what do you call, dedicated integrated RAM on the board here, which usually sucks, because if that piece goes bad, then you end up with a broken computer. So I'm wondering if that's why it's refurbished. Excuse me. Alright, there's an M.2 SSD slot here. I don't think we need to remove any of this to get the bottom cover off. It looks like this is a spare slot, as you can see. Also, there's two little things here, and there's a thermal pad there. So this has to go into the little slots of this red piece here. Wiggle that in, alright, and drop that down. So if you put the SSD, you'd put the SSD in first at an angle, and then you can put this piece on top. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing all the screws from this. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. So well, actually it's looking like these screws stay attached to this cover, which is a nice thing. So as you can see, you can unscrew it, and then it starts clicking when it's fully removed. Right? If the screws do come out, make sure again to keep them in order because you don't want to mix them up. Actually, this one might come out. Nope. Okay, I guess they all stay attached. That's nice. It makes it easier to work on. I don't have to keep track of the screws. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More with the same profile picture but zoomed in. If you are super grateful, it would be really helpful if you could subscribe to that one as well. All right. Anyways, if I didn't already mention it, we're trying to replace the screen. The customer screen's actually working okay on here, but they wanted to upgrade it to a better one. So anyways, what I'm doing now is I'm getting my fingernails in between the gap here, and I'm trying to find where it's going to pop open. I'm assuming that there's just going to be some clips and it's going to pop out. Usually we'll go from here. Let's see, I think this one seems like it's from this side. Okay. And I'm going to get my fingernails in this gap and then push on the palm rest, and hopefully that will pop it out. So let's see here. Wow, these clips are strong, or I'm just not prying the right spots. Okay. Oh, there's some clips coming out. I hope that's okay. It looks like it's coming out. Wait a minute. Is this... what the... are there 2 layers? That scared me. You see this? This palm rest is separating from this other bottom layer as well. What? Okay, so it looks like that's how it's supposed to come out. I hope there's no weird stuff going on here. Okay. All right. It looks like it's coming out right. Yep. All right, we're going to go to this side now, and you can see it's lifting away. We're going to rotate it this way now. And let's see if we can, okay, it's all popping apart easily on its own. So we got this portion out, so hopefully, let's see, is there any weird stuff here that we need to remove? Like this little thing? Nope, doesn't seem like it. We're gonna rotate it this way, and I'm gonna lift from this side. Sorry, I can't rotate the camera as well, but oh, I think the screws are still holding on. So when I lift here, oh, this trying to keep this thing from getting any scrapies is not gonna work well with this material that I'm using. I might have to change it to something else. Give me a second. Let me get, maybe I'll just use some paper towels or something. Okay, I just opened the bag so that the air can come out easier, and that works. All right, anyways, as you can see, when I lift this, the screws are staying down. So we're gonna have to undo these screws more, I think. Yep. All right, and hopefully that's pretty much all that's holding it. So while I'm kind of lifting it, I'm undoing the screws. I hope they're not hiding anything under here. Again, this is my first time ever opening this model, so I don't know if they're hiding any screws or anything. It feels like it's hitting something here, trying to pull this up. So I'm a little bit worried to apply more force. Let's try popping this side. This side seems pretty stuck for some reason. What's going on here? This side doesn't seem to want to move. So let's try and pry this side. Let's see here. Okay, that's working. So what I'm doing is I'm getting my fingernails in there, and then I'm prying it up like that. Okay, and for the most part it's coming up. All right, you can see all of this is coming away. It's definitely getting caught on something. I think it's hitting the heatsink here. So let's see if we can lift from this side more. Yep, okay, and go that way. And here we go. I don't really want to flip this upside down just in case the screws fall out, but it looks like they're all held in. So, okay, here you go. This is what the bottom of that looks like. Okay. Just in case anyone wanted to see that, we'll flip this back over and set that aside. Here you can see inside now. It looks like there's a GPU here that's actually removable. Wow, this is crazy looking inside. My main goal here, though, is just to disconnect the battery because we are trying to replace the screen, not anything else. But I just wanted to show you guys what is visible here. Okay, so we're going to undo the screws here. I don't know if the customer did anything with this computer before they brought it to me. So, for all I know, there could have been RAM here and SSD here. Excuse me, and they possibly pulled it out, but I don't know. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and continue removing the screws here. Sorry, getting some junk off my desk. All right, so we got 3 screws so far. Oh, I probably should have centered this better for a thumbnail, huh? I probably already got a good enough one. All right, so we got those 3 screws out, and I think that's all the screws holding the battery in place. I'm going to go under here. Let me actually zoom in and see if I can show this a little better. So I'm going to go under here. You can go from both sides. This is where the battery connects, and we're just going to pull up like that. Okay, now the battery's disconnected. So we should be able to rotate this and then slide it. Yep, that way. All right, so the battery model here is, there's multiple, but the main one is L21M6P70. Okay, that's what it looks like. This looks brand new. So yeah, I don't think the customer really had this for very long. All right, there's the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. It is a CR2032-T6, if you're curious. All right, this looks like a smart card reader or something here. You got the touchpad trackpad connector here. There's a cable here that I don't know what it's for. This is most likely a case intrusion switch. You can see how it flips. This can be flipped up and down, and when the case is on, it's usually flipping it down. Fan connector, one on this side, another one here. This USB SD card board does connect here with this cable. It's interesting because they have this push down cable, but it folds over and then pushes down onto the other side there. All right, all the other connectors, keyboard, touchpad, trackpad, seem to not be easily accessible. There's quite a bit of space underneath the motherboard, logic board, whatever you want to call this. So I'm assuming there's a removable SSD and RAM under there if yours didn't come with it in here. Okay. So I'm assuming if you wanted, the whole touchpad looks like it will just come out, because you see how the screws, they go through there and then this comes through here. But if you're going to do that, you are going to have to disconnect the touchpad here. I don't know if there's any other cables. The keyboard you have to remove most likely from the top here. There's the whole frame. So usually this kind, oh yeah, okay, you can see how I can slide this up. So actually this keyboard's going to come out easily. I guess the screws go from the bottom through, maybe? So you can see how this, after I slid it that way, it lifts up. And then we're going to pull this back here. And now we can tilt this forward, and we have access to the keyboard. I'm going to take this out just to make things a little easier. I don't know if I have to remove any of this to work on the screen, but let's just flip these little latches. If you've seen computers I worked on before, these are ZIF, or zero insertion force connectors, right? Once you undo those latches, you can kind of just lift and pull them back. And there's the keyboard. Keyboard model information is here. I don't know who's going to need that information. My customer is calling me, so I might have to go outside and talk with them if they're outside. There's a bunch of these little covers here. I'm assuming they're hiding more RAM and SSDs under this. This looks like it can probably fit an M.2 SSD. Let's undo these screws and see if it's easy to pop out or not. There's one screw or one connector here, and that looks like it's probably for the power button. Right, so we undid that screw. Oh, there's one more over here. Okay, and then we also got 2 screws for this one here. If the customer tries calling again, I'm going to have to, oops, you can't even see what I'm doing. Let me zoom out here. Okay, I can't slide this over anymore because I am running out of desk space and I don't want to knock the screws over. Okay, but I removed this screw here, and then we'll remove one more here. And they actually write stuff on here. So this is the wireless, it says WAN, WWAN bracket. So this is for the, I mean for, I guess, a mobile network card, right? There's another little cable here, which I'm assuming is for a speaker. And then this is most likely the LCD LVDS connector here. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, after disconnecting the battery, it's always a good idea to press and hold the power button to drain any residual power if you're going to mess with the screen. Very important if you're messing with the screen to hold the power button down after disconnecting the battery and external power, all right? The other components, the keyboards and stuff like that, you shouldn't have any issues if you were disconnecting things. But definitely for the screen, you want to be extra careful. Press and hold this power button for at least 15 seconds after disconnecting the battery. Okay, so there's that slot there. Let's go ahead and put these screws back in. Okay. All right, then we have this thing. Let's see if we can lift this one off or if there's something else to it. This one seems more stuck. I definitely see a RAM slot under there though, but I don't see how this pops up. Oh, okay, so you have to slide this over and then we can lift this out. So yes, there's a M.2 SSD slot there, and it looks like 2 more sticks of RAM here. Does that mean there's 3 sticks of RAM? Or is there another one that I didn't notice? This is a 16 gig PC5 4800B. If you want to remove it, you just pull the 2 tabs to the side like that. It pops up and then you can pull it out. Anyways, we're not messing with the RAM, so let's click that back in. The wireless card, I think this is part of the motherboard logic board because the design looks like one that's integrated. I don't know how this works because it doesn't have... Seriously? So there's a thermal pad here, but as you can see, there's this clear layer on top, so the thermal pad's not even engaged. That's weird. I'm assuming the customer wants it engaged, otherwise this is going to overheat. You don't put a thermal pad and leave this on, so you have to peel this clear layer off of here. I guess it's a good thing I over-checked, but actually, why is the clear layer not coming off? Is this a weird new kind of thermal pad? I have no clue. What? I've never seen a thermal pad where the clear layer is like permanently stuck to it. That makes no sense. Let's try getting it off with some tweezers. If it doesn't come out, I don't know. I might tell the customer and see what they want to do, because this is extremely odd. Even with tweezers, it doesn't want to separate. Yeah, I don't know. This is some weird stuff. I've never seen a thermal pad stick to the plastic so strong like that. So I don't know. Maybe this is just some weird new design, or if the customer wants to replace a thermal pad with one that doesn't have that issue, I guess they'll have to see about doing that. But anyways, we're going to slide this back in. There's a little thing that sticks out there that prevents this from being put in this way first. So you kind of have to start over here, push that down under. Okay. I don't know if there's any other tabs that I'm missing, but there we go. And then slide that over. All right. Drop that in and then slide that back. So this one needs to go first. You see how it has this little notch that lets it drop down? Okay, so actually both of them can drop in there. You see this little hole here and here? So this starts over to the left. This one also starts here, drops in, and then it latches here, here, and here in 3 spots. So you slide this over. Okay, and that pretty much locks it all into place. Let's go ahead and get all these screws back in. Hopefully the customer wasn't trying to call again when I'm not looking at my phone, because my phone is doing the recording right now, so I can't really answer my phone until I'm done. Okay, otherwise I have to stitch the videos together, and then that always ends up being a lot more of a pain. Okay, anyways, you can see the power button here. If you really wanted to pop this whole thing out, I'm assuming we could, but I don't want to mess around with it too much. Let's see. Oh, you'd probably have to undo the screws holding the touchpad there before this whole thing will drop out, because it seems like even though those screws, oh, there's a clip here. So there's a clip there that you'd have to disengage, and then another clip here, and another clip here, and another clip down there, and several clips down there. So actually you'd have to use quite a bit of force, I think, to pop the whole thing out. Okay, so we're just going to leave that alone because, yeah, that seems like it's more difficult and more of a pain than I thought it would be. So we're going to rotate this, flip this back over. Okay, but be careful pulling on this top case layer without pulling on the metal piece here, because it can separate and then you can actually rip and damage the trackpad. All right, if you're not careful and you didn't disconnect it or anything. All right, let's zoom out here. Okay, so now we're going to get underneath here. I'm going to carefully pull up. Most likely there's going to be adhesive holding this plastic piece to the frame of the screen. Okay. Carefully, slowly work our way around. I'm basically rotating it like this, pushing this part in towards the middle while pulling this end. So basically rotating it like that. Okay. Carefully, slowly work our way around. Now it's going to get oil from my knuckles touching the screen all around. All right. And again, this screen already, it like works. So I know the computer's at least turning on. I did see the Lenovo screen. Oh, the adhesive is kind of wanting to stick to both layers. That might be a little bit of a hassle. Okay, well, anyways, we'll continue slowly working at it. The adhesive peels up slowly, so don't try and rush it. I know some people like to use heat and stuff to rush it. I don't know. I get scared of using heat on plastic stuff. So, right, so there we go. We pulled up most of it. The adhesive is kind of separating. I'll show you it in a bit because I don't want to try and flip it all over the place and cause some weird damages here. All right, now we're going to work on this edge. So same thing, pushing that towards the center and rotating it. Got most of this up, so hopefully the other portion will come up. Oh, I think he's texting me now. Okay, I might have to respond to it soon here. Let's see, I'd rather not have to pause the video, but if he messages over and over, I'm gonna have to stop. All right, so we're gonna continue with this side, and we're gonna get to here. Okay, same thing. Be careful not to put too much pressure onto the screen itself while trying to do this. All right, so we got the sides and the top out. So let's go ahead and work on the bottom portion. So we're gonna have to kind of open this further. I don't know if you can see this. This is all kind of popping out already. All right, we're gonna work our way towards the bottom here. I'm applying kind of the same pressure. The other thing with the bottom here is you can't really do the same thing, so you're basically just kind of pulling the inner edge here, frame outwards. Somewhat similar motion. All right, so this, okay, and we're gonna carefully pull here. Wow, this is holding on really tight. Let's see here. I'm assuming it's just gonna pop out from this bezel here, but it really is holding really tight in there, so. Okay, there's a lot of adhesive and very strong clips, so you gotta kind of pull slowly and just be patient. But the customer's messaging me multiple times now, so I might have to pause here. Okay, this is, there we go, it's popping out. And we're going to continue working our way towards the center. Wow, this is, okay, these clips hold really tight. Okay, I wish that while I was doing this recording, I would be able to read the messages, but it's not letting me. All right, now that we got this gap, as you can see, I'm sliding my thumb into there and kind of keeping that gap open on both sides now. And I'm kind of pulling it up towards there as well. Like, my screen has fingerprints all over it now, this old one. Okay. All right, this portion here has a very strong clip or something. There we go. It holds much stronger than the rest. So I'm getting underneath here more and pulling up while kind of trying to push that inwards. And you can see that pops that out, and we're at the final clip, it seems. Come on, there we go. And here's what the inside of this looks like. You can see the adhesive kind of moved a little bit. Should be okay. It's in this black area here. Okay, I'm going to push this little black film back down. Okay, so yeah, this should snap back in. Next thing we're going to do is we got to pull this screen out. I'm assuming there's adhesive or something holding it. I don't see the tabs. Is it from the top? Okay, it's from the top here. So we're going to flip this back over this way. Okay, and there's 2 tabs here. So we need to get those tabs out. I'm going to use little tweezers. You can use whatever to just get underneath here. You basically use that to hook it. Now you can see I have this tab, and we're just going to pull straight. Okay, so pull it straight this way. Oh, it curves in this way. So we're going to have to go ahead and follow that curve and then just continue pulling it. Grab it. Once you pull a bunch out, you go ahead and while you're stretching it, grab further in. You can release the stretch there and then continue doing the same thing. You don't want to try and pull this too fast, because if you pull too fast, you can end up breaking this adhesive strip. Okay, so you do want to take your time, go slow. Okay, and just like that. And if you're going to try and reuse the adhesive strip, make sure that it doesn't touch itself, because if the adhesive strip touches itself, it will definitely stick to it, and it will be very, very difficult or impossible to remove. Okay, the customer showed me the replacement screen. It came with replacement adhesive strips, but I kind of want to avoid using those because they're likely, I think they were just straight. They don't have the little curve to it that I showed you this one has. Okay, but it's going to be a little tricky because this, it's all sticking to my fingers a lot. All right, we're going to continue trying to pull this, and you want to try and keep your hands close to it as well, because when you get close to the end, it's going to want to like slingshot. So you kind of want to keep your fingers on the thing as you get closer to the end while pulling it. All right, and we'll just continue. Okay, and there we go. It disconnected. You can see this kind of rolled itself on itself a little bit. Hopefully we can unroll it. If not, okay, there we go. We unrolled that a little bit. So you can see how that adhesive strip is. I'm going to stick that aside hanging, so hopefully I can reuse it. All right, and now we got to do the other side. I'm going to see if I can move this so you guys can get a better view here a little bit. So move this further back a little bit. Okay, same thing with this one. Get in there, hook it, grab this, and you can see how it kind of goes, and then it goes like that. Okay. Oh, be careful. I saw it tried to slingshot back on itself. Okay, the other issue is it's very sticky, so it tries to stick to your hands. Okay. Jeez, let go. Okay. Also, keep in mind, pulling this will make it a little bit longer. So, yeah, it might not fit exactly the same. You might have to snip a little bit of the end off. All right, so there we go. All right, now that we got all of that out, let's see if we can pop the screen out. Okay, this over here. Take this. All right, so normally the screen will fall forward. Yep. All right, and there we go. So this cable does have a little bit of slack, or quite a bit of slack. So it is pretty easy to move. We are going to have to undo this latch. I'm not letting the screen fall completely down on the keyboard because it still has adhesive on it, and if I do, it's going to stick to there. All right, we're going to get under this little latch and we're going to flip it. Oh, there's adhesive here as well. So you do need to get underneath this clear adhesive and peel that up. All right, once you peel that up, get under that latch, flip it, and then we can go ahead and, oh, it sticks to itself. That's good. It makes it keep that out of the way. Flip that up, and then I use my fingernail towards the bottom corner of this latch to pull that out, just like that. And there we go. The screen is removed. The current screen model number is, where we go? Here, right here. It's a NE160WM-N64 version 8.0. Okay, that's the current screen. So let's go ahead now and get the replacement screen the customer brought and then swap it out. All right. So the customer brought this screen. It's all wrapped up. So let me unwrap this real quick. And yeah. All right, so this is what they brought. Okay. Did they undo it and then rewrap it, or is that just how the... That's kind of weird. Where's the... Okay. Looks like they just threw some excess... Wait, that's not the top. Where's this? Where does this start? Maybe I should just cut it. Oh, here. Okay. Sorry. Oh, you don't need to see all the junk on my desk. Alright, so I'm going to unravel these. Okay. If you're wondering why I record this stuff, is because I want people to know that I handled this stuff carefully, that I didn't just like throw it around. Okay, here you can see the 2 adhesive strips I was talking about that it came with. I hope the connector and everything's the same. The customer said they checked and it should be good, so we're going to open this up. Okay, and we shouldn't need these 2. We'll set that aside. Pull this guy out. Set that aside. Okay, so here's the screen. This one they have is an LP160UQ1, and then in parentheses SP, and then in parentheses again B1. So that's that. Okay, let's go ahead and see here. Oh, what's that? This was like stuck on that. I was like, I don't know. Anyways, we'll line this connector. Oh no. Okay, I need to show the customer this because it's not replaceable. It needs a special different cable here. So I'm going to show that to the customer. I apparently did this for nothing. And yeah, I'll be back. Yeah. All right, I'm back. So he basically said just return it back to original. All right, and yeah, let's go ahead and do that then. So this cable, we gotta line everything back up. I gotta be a little careful again because the adhesive is on the front of the screen, and if I drop it down, it's gonna stick to everything. Let me see how I can show this here. Okay, so get this lined up. Sorry, the screen's a little bit in the way. Actually, let's go ahead and put the adhesive strips back in first here. So I'll zoom out. We'll flip this over here. So here you can see what the inside underneath the screen looks like, okay? And basically those strips went in onto this, okay? So we're gonna take the little strips back here, and basically this went in like that. It goes like where the wireless card thing is, or these are wireless antennas, these copper things that go over there, all right? Oh, don't stick to yourself, please. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this over here like this, and then we're just gonna stick that down. It's gonna be hard to stick it back down because it's a little bit less sticky. You can see it extends past this piece now. If you really want to, you can try and like make it fit. Sometimes what I do, if there's enough wiggle room here, I would like zigzag it, but it looks like in this case I don't have that option, so I think we're just gonna have to trim it down. Okay, so I'm gonna slowly lower this into place. Okay, we'll check how long, and we need to cut maybe about 1 centimeter off, less than 1 centimeter, but we'll cut about 1 centimeter off. Okay, I don't know, I don't measure with centimeters and stuff very often, but I cut about that much. I'd say that's close to 1 centimeter. All right, actually it's smaller than 1 centimeter, but all right, anyways, we'll get the other side back as well. Same thing. There's this little piece of plastic that sticks up, all right, and basically what I'm doing is I'm making the this non-sticky plastic part hit that, okay? And then you want to make it go straight down this, whatever this material, aluminum alloy uncoated portion. Okay, it's like trying to go at a weird angle. Stop it. Okay, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to cut about the same amount from this one as well. See, it keeps wanting to stick to my finger. This material here doesn't like to stick to it too much as well. All right, we're gonna cut about this one. I have to cut a little bit extra actually. Okay. And it stuck to my finger. There we go. All right, and toss that excess away. All right, so make sure it goes up all the way there. Okay, the tricky part is, how am I going to stick this down? I think tweezers, these pokey tweezers, will help. You can try and do it. Don't push down too hard, okay? You don't want to poke holes into it. I'm just trying to put some pressure to make it stick down, but not, I don't know if it's going to work. You see how easily it wants to keep releasing. I don't know. This is going to be tricky. How am I going to, because once I lift this up, those adhesive strips, I was hoping it would stick there on its own, but it needs the pressure from the screen pushing on it. So I don't know how I'm going to flip this. And how am I going to attach the screen now? I'll do it like this probably. That will probably work, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Okay, so we're going to go like this. I'm going to have to hold it like that, and then I'm going to have to reconnect it this way. So if you can't see, I'm sorry. I don't know. Or maybe I can actually, oh, okay, what I can do, I can tilt the screen back even further. There we go. This screen tilts back pretty far, the hinges. Oh yeah, that works perfect. Okay, so zoom in some more, line this up. Okay, get it all lined up. And then make sure and pull it straight in. Then latch that down, pull this over, make sure this is pulled somewhat tight, and then tape that back down. All right, now we just got to get the screen back in. I'm going to flip it upside down so that the keyboard's not in my way when I do this part. Okay, oops, here. Okay, so I guess this turned into a screen replacement video, not an upgrade. But anyways, oh no, I let the screen touch the keyboard. Now I have to slowly, carefully, there we go, peel it away because all the adhesive. All right, so now when you go to pull this back, you want to line up you see the little blue thing there? You line that up, and this gray one, get those corners in, and then you line up this one just like that. All right, center it, make sure it's in on both sides, slowly lower it, and you gotta push it down slightly, so that way it will clear the blue one up here and here, okay? Then you can carefully apply pressure to both sides to make sure it sticks down. Okay, good. Now we have this bezel, and the bezel, oh, we can also kind of stick this back down a little bit, although it did it on its own. Now the bezel, we're gonna have to just line this back up. I'm gonna actually attach the top corner here first, like that, and this one as well. Okay, and now what we're doing is we're pushing on the outer to basically so it rotates up like that, and the clips should just kind of fall in. If it's difficult, you might have to pull this back a little bit, kind of mess with it to get it to line up. It shouldn't be difficult for the clips to go in. You shouldn't have to push crazy hard. Okay, some of the adhesive was kind of showing through. Okay, so there we go. You can see it's kind of more like a little rocking motion. And, oh, this one's kind of not wanting to go. Might have to actually force this one in a little bit because this one's, let's try and pull the, okay. So if it doesn't work, you basically do the same motion you were doing to remove it, but then at the same time kind of pushing the clip down into place. Going along the outer edges. All right, we're getting to the bottom, so we're gonna rotate this back over here. And then this will probably be a little tricky. Actually, it's going in very easily. Okay, so that's good. Work your way over. Then this clip, because this clip was so hard to remove, I don't know. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so you kind of like pull it out that way. That seemed to work. Now I need this on a flat surface, so kind of fold it like that. And then you can kind of push. Actually, it's all good already. Let's see, most likely the bottom still has some clips we need to clip in here. So like this portion, but I have to keep it like this so that it's flat. Okay. And then, yep. And then push back here. The other way you can do it is you can push both sides of the screen. So one side, I don't know if I can even show that though, but you push from one side. Yeah, you can't really, like, basically like this, okay? But we already clipped everything back in. Looks good. Okay, I think we got everything. Let's take a look at the back here. That all looks snapped in. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the keyboard back in. I don't think you really need to remove the keyboard or anything to disconnect this, but if there's a replacement screen, it looks like there's two cables here. I'm not sure which one's the LCD LVDS. I didn't pay attention to where that cable was going, but there's one here and one here. One is likely for the camera microphone setup and the other one's for the screen. But I didn't pay attention to which is which, so if you're upgrading the cable, assuming there is an upgrade, I don't know. If there is, you'd have to take this out, and then if you want to take that out, then we have to figure out how to take this out, and likely have to take all of this out. But it looks like to take the hinges out, you do have to take this out. So yeah, that's not something I'm doing right now because we don't have that replacement cable. So I don't want to risk taking apart things that we don't have and then have the possibility of causing damage without even knowing if it's even possible to upgrade this. But flip those latches up. Okay, get the cable in there, line it up. These can be a little bit tricky. There you go. I like to use the blue tab to help pull it into place and then swing that down and latch it. All right, and the other one. So this is the keyboard and this is the, whatever that little track point thingy is called. I don't know what they call that. All right, there you go. And it kind of went in on its own and then there we go. All right, now that we got those two cables reconnected, we just gotta slide the keyboard back in. So I'll zoom back out. All right, so we're basically gonna get the top in first because this needs to go under this portion. So slide that in, you see how it went in, then you can lower this down, and then once you lower that down, you can pull the whole thing back. Make sure these little tabs go underneath. There we go, and that's it for as far as installing the keyboard goes. Oh, dust is getting in there, whoops, sorry. Okay, now we're gonna close this back up. Flip this back over, and I think all we have left is the battery the bottom cover, and then the cover on the bottom cover. Okay, so here we go. Let's get the battery back in. So the battery has these little feet here. I'm gonna slide that in like this. Lower this into place, make sure this lines up, and then push that down. That makes sure the battery's connected. We're gonna get the 3 screws back in. Okay, you wanna be very careful getting these screws and stuff back in now that the battery's back in. Sometimes it doesn't power the computer till you plug it back in. So yeah, all right, and then we get the 3rd screw over here. I don't know if this has that safety feature or not, but anyways, all right, so we got all of that back in. I don't think I disconnected anything else, right? Everything else seems fine. So let's go ahead now and put this back on. Was there any special clips here? Not really. The only thing is I think we have to get this side in first because the shape of the heat sinks. So you kind of want to go in like that. Okay. Make sure that all lines up, and then you can lower the rest down. All right. Now that that's all in, you can push it all down to click everything down. Okay. Most likely we're gonna have to open it up and then double check the clips afterwards, but okay, you can actually see this didn't clip in. See, so actually we can click this from here. Let's see, does this need to go inwards or outwards? Okay, so this black portion needs to go down as you pull this, I think. It's not easy to clip this back in, jeez. Why are these clips so difficult here? I think we'll do the screws and then we'll do the clips. It might be that the screw's kind of pushing up against it. Okay, so we're gonna twist. I like to twist backwards to hear it click and then tighten it down. And yeah, we're gonna put all these screws back in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was at least partially holding it up. And look at this. All right, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, again, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. Again, I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More where I put just my review videos. They're also on this channel at the moment. Eventually, I'm probably going to only have them on there once I can monetize those videos. But yeah, so if you like that content or if you just want to help me out, you can subscribe to that one. And if you don't want to see those notifications, just don't enable that bell thing. And yeah, let's finish getting all these screws in. Make sure all the clips are back properly, and then we will power it up and see, make sure that it's working. Oh yeah, I want to see if there's actually 1 or 2 slots here. Oh, there's 2 slots in here. So yeah, okay, I thought that would be weird if there was only 3. But I've actually, to be honest, seen some computers do that where there's like 1 integrated stick. That's so annoying. All right, anyways, so we're gonna get this in. All right, I did do this one. Just want to make sure. Yep. Okay, then we'll get this in. And then click these in. It helps to kind of like bow it up this way. Okay, to get those clips in. Then we'll just get this screw back in. I wonder why. I guess this big gap here is just so you can get under the little flap to pull it out. Because you don't really need to slide it down like I showed earlier. All right, I think I tightened all the screws down. And yeah, it did clip back here. As you can see, that gap is no longer there. So we just did have to redo that screw. All right, let's see if it powers up. Or do I? Okay, it's powering on. I do see the power light. Numlock flashed on and off. Please load without any issues. It does have a lot of fingerprints on it now. I do need to clean that up. And okay, I see the escape lights and these lighting up in series. Uh-oh, what does that mean? Or is it just booting for the first time since the battery was disconnected? Oh, there you go. Okay, computers like to do that now. It's kind of strange because it has a separate CMOS BIOS battery, so it's kind of weird that it needed to do that. Anyways, the customer has Linux, Ubuntu, or something on here, or I don't know. I just want to make sure it's still going to boot into that bootloader. Yep, there you go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, we'll get maybe a thumbnail of this as well. And yeah, let's drop this. Bye. And yeah, I did try to get all the fingerprint or knuckle prints off, but yeah. All right, I think that's good.